Hey boys and girls, this is Mrs. Haley. I'm going to be with you here hopefully every day doing some type of video about reading and writing and word work. I can't believe I'm not going to see you for a while, but at least you can see me. So we're going to talk a little about words today. I'm going to give you some words, and what I would like you to do is if you don't have a piece of paper and a pencil or pen, I would like you to get one because I'm going to have you write some words down. And also, if you could get some scissors, that would be great. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to do that, and then I'll meet you right back here. Okay, hopefully you have the paper and the scissors and the pencil or pen. I'm going to have you write down some words, and then we're going to look at how you would sort these words or what you think about the words. So I'm going to start with this word. The word is walks. Everybody should know what that means, right? Walks. So write that down. W-A-L-K-S. Walks. All right, the next one is runs. R-U-N-S. Runs. You want to write those kind of like a little bit away from each other so that you can cut them into little cards or into little pieces of paper. The next one's a long word. Scurries. Scurries. S-C-U-R-R-I-E-S. Scurries. The next one is the word dashes. Dashes is a multiple meaning word. We could have lots of different uses for this word. I'm going to talk a little bit about the use that we're going to use today in our story. Dashes. And the last word is the word fleas, not scratch, scratch fleas. This is the one where if you are running quickly from someplace, you might flee. So F-L-E-E-S. So now that you've written 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those words down, what I'd like you to do is just kind of cut them apart. So I'm going to let you go ahead and cut those apart. I'm going to keep talking while you're doing that. I want you, when you cut them apart, to kind of look at them, see what they have in common, see what they have that's maybe different about each of them, and just kind of look at those words. You can look at the spellings of the words, you can look at the meanings of the words, but I want you to kind of study those words. What are you noticing about the words? I'm noticing something. I'm noticing that they all end in S, which means what? It could mean that they're plural, but since this is a verb, it wouldn't be plural because only nouns can be plural. Oh, actually, guess what I just figured out? They're all verbs, and they all end in S. All right. What else can we see about these words? Lots of them. Oh, quite a few end in ES. I noticed that. Scurries, dashes, well, and fleas. I'm also noticing that if I looked at these words from this perspective, from running to walking, I'd notice that they were kind of opposites. Walking is a lot slower than running, or it should be. So what I want you to do is now take your words and I want you to put runs at the top and walks at the bottom. And I want you to figure out from scurries, fleas, and dashes that meaning. So like if I put runs up at the top and walks at the bottom because they're opposite, which one would be kind of a little bit faster than walks, but not quite as fast as runs? Give you a couple seconds to think about that. I think after you walk a little bit, maybe scurry would be next. Maybe. And then I'm thinking maybe dashes. And then I'm really looking at fleas, and I'm actually thinking I'm going to put runs and then fleas. I feel like fleas is a lot faster than even running. So if I look at my shades of meaning from opposites, I might start with a walk and then scurry a little bit and then dash. Uh-oh, I need more hands. And then run. And then the very fastest might be flee. Go ahead and see what you think about those. Try your own. I think that they're all ways to get around. I can flee somewhere, I can dash somewhere. I think that's what they all have in common. I'm going to take a commercial break. I'll be right back. Welcome back. I had to make dinner. That's part of my responsibility now, too. All right, so we were talking about some of these verbs that we were using as ways to get around. Walks, runs, flees, dashes, and kind of figuring out what's the smallest mode of transportation there up to the fastest, which you can go ahead and take a look at too. My words today come from this book called When the Elephant Walks. It's kind of a simple book, but I felt like those words that are in this simple book are a little bit challenging. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the meanings of those words. These are also words you can use in your writing to make your verbs sound more exciting. Instead of saying he runs, we could use the word flees. Instead of saying walks, we could use the word scurries. So we're going to use when the elephant walks as our text today. We're going to talk about the skills that it's necessary to be able to understand this as well. When the elephant walks is kind of a cute story about this poor elephant. It's by Keiko Kasza. Hopefully you can see the pictures. When the elephant walks, we all know about elephants. They don't walk very lightly. They're a large mammal. They're going to walk pretty heavy, huh? I don't know about walking on 2 feet, though, so I'm kind of thinking this might be fiction. Unless he's a very talented elephant, huh? He scares the bear. All he was trying to do was get food. When then the bear runs away, there's that word runs. Oops, there it is. That means he did it pretty quickly. In the process, he scares the crocodile. There's another thing I'm thinking we're doing fiction right now. The crocodile with a cold drink underneath an umbrella reading a newspaper. Thinking this is fiction. When the crocodile swims for his life, swims, that's another way to get around. We could have added that to our verbs. He scares the wild hog. Oh, fiction. Although a cute little wild hog, not real. When the wild hog dashes for safety, there's that word, dashes. He scares Mrs. Raccoon. Oh, she's taking her baby for a walk, maybe to the park. When Mrs. Raccoon flees with her baby, save my baby. They scare the little mouse. Oh, fiction. We're flying a kite. But when the little mouse scurries in terror, well, who would be scared by a little mouse? Well, look who would be. They say that mice scare elephants. And there he goes. I'm starting to think about this back here, that I'm going to go to the beginning of the book. Here he is standing, but I'm thinking if he starts to run, I think it's going to start this story all over again. And in that case, we call this a circular story. But what skill do we need to figure this out, to figure out how to understand this text? Because remember, that's why we read. We need the skill of cause and effect. So when we look at these, we look at some cause and effect relationships. So what's happening? The elephant walks. He's probably walking pretty heavy, which then scares the bear. So what happens? The bear gets scared. Why? Because the elephant's walking pretty heavy on his feet. Then what happens here? The bear runs. Why does the bear run? The elephant scared it. What's going to happen now? The effect is the crocodile's going to get scared. So this book is all made of different things that are going to cause something to happen and then an effect. So if I was going to read this book again, I might do something different at the end. If this elephant is scared of this little mouse, maybe instead of making it a circular story, I would go back and tell what would happen when this elephant runs away from the mouse. Maybe he runs into a city. Maybe he scares a child. Maybe the child becomes friends with him. Maybe the child saves him from the mouse. That's something you could write about today in your journal page. Here's a silly picture. I'm trying to figure out, I wonder if the mouse is just like, hey, wait, I just wanted to have a friend. Go ahead and write a story about that. You can continue the story when the elephant walks, or you can write your own. That's what good readers do. Hope you enjoyed my story. See you tomorrow.